What I'm going to ask you to do now, and if I managed to get this packet of post-it notes open, I want you to think about what do you think your biggest challenge is in getting your fellowship application done. And you're not allowed to write time, okay? That's banned. Apart from that, you can write anything else. I'm going to start with an open pack. So just have a think about it. What do you feel your biggest challenge is in getting your fellowship application done? And we'll gather these up. So you don't write time, because that's not allowed. Let's take one and pass those down. Just give it a little bit of thought. Actually, when you're doing it, can you also write on there, if you're going for senior fellow, or associate fellow? I think you see there. You're not writing on it at the moment, are you? Okay, so you've got a post-it note, and then just put on there what your biggest challenge is, and then at the top, senior fellow. And actually, you could also write the month that you're planning to submit, and then I can collate those and give them back to the office. No, you don't have to write your name, just your challenge and oh, okay. I'll gather these up, and then it'll help me make sure that I'm going to give you the right sort of help this week. I think there's some, in terms of looking for stuff that backs up what you're doing. Yeah.
I don't mean the A1, A2, K1, K2 reference.
No, you mean the pedagogic literature. Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure, there were a couple of articles on my VLE.
Yes.
I'm not sure those couple of articles would be enough to support.
Yeah,
or are we to...
Are you going for a fellow or senior fellow?
Fellow.
I sort of think, 3, 4, 5 articles probably be enough. I don't think it has to be a literature review. It depends, it depends on what it is that you're trying to say. If it was just sort of the inspiration for stuff, then, referencing to a paper. I actually think I referenced a couple of those CEDA papers, the Gibson one, where, what's the point of lecturing? You could reference that and say, well, that was the inspiration for doing more, active learning or what have you.
Yeah, personally, I have this anxiety that every single activity or every single idea
has to have
that
a reference to it.
Because that has to be evidence-based.
Yeah. I
So
think
if I come up with a strange legal thing, which is not included in the previous literature, that might be a handicap.
Okay, well, I think that's a really, really interesting point, and it's kind of actually really leads us on to what we're talking about now, which is does your new innovation lead back to your teaching philosophy?
Yeah.
So if your teaching philosophy is grounded in the literature, okay, so you've got a philosophy that you believe in and it's evidence-based, and then you're looking at innovative ways of in your practice, but it kind of is related to that philosophy. Okay, so I think it's important about getting your philosophy right and then using examples that build on that, even though they might not have you know, you might not find evidence for that exact thing
That's
before, but you can see the trail back to the logic, yeah? So, you know, does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't necessarily have to find specific evidence for
Every single thing, yeah.
activity.
So, yeah. So, for example, if I was writing my fellowship application saying, right, well, I engaged a group of academics after tea when they were all a bit sleepy by throwing a beach ball at them, okay? I wouldn't scour the literature to find an evidence for that. I would say, you know, I know that, you know, after coffee, you know, halfway through a 6-hour session, my students are going to be a bit sleepy. So I kind of, you know, make them a bit nervous because they think, oh, is she going to throw the ball at me? And I, you know, thinking about the questions, listening to what other people have to say. So there's a logic to the activity, but you don't have to find evidence for that specific activity. So my kind of underlying philosophy is, you know, one is that to keep people active. One is to make sure people keep engaged because they don't quite know where the ball's coming next. Okay, so you can't just go to sleep and think, oh, she's not going to ask me, I'm going to keep my head
Are we
down.
going to get detailed advice from you while writing? Because I can share that I thought about it. And
Do you mean, sorry, ask the question again?
Are we able to get specific advice?
When you've written part of your fellowship?
Yeah.
I'm just getting feedback on that from the office. I don't know what's in the contract, how much how much of your draft I would have to read. So the last group that I worked with at a different university, I read about maybe about 700 words for each of the participants, because I think once you've written about that much, and there's no point writing 5,000 words and then give it to me and I'm going, no, you're on the wrong track. So if you write a small piece, then I give you feedback on that, and then generally you're on the right track. I imagine that's the process, but I'm just waiting, and probably by the end of today I'll have heard back on that to see what's happening. I forgot where we are now. Right, anybody else want to hand in their notes of what they've written about their challenges? Okay. This is going to keep me reading for hours tonight. Okay, so on the VLE before I came, I was asking you to think about bringing an artefact that represented your teaching philosophy. And as I said, I sort of was trying to think about an artefact that I would use to demonstrate to you. And I came up with Lego, okay? So I really love these characters. Has anybody heard of these, the Lego Academics? They kind of have a Twitter feed and everything. And they kind of, you know, they're always kind of drinking coffee and complaining about students and things. So, but I kind of quite like these guys. They kind of get quite frustrated by academic life at times. But they, to me, Lego itself is an incredibly kind of creative kind of tool for using in education. So that kind of underpins my philosophy in that I recognise that students are individuals and they can take the building blocks of what I give them and create something new, and they're creating their own knowledge, and they can take things in different paths. Okay, so that kind of, so this is really just, if I was asked to do the task that I've asked you to, that's what I would bring in. I would bring in some Lego and say, you know, Lego represents my approach to teaching, because I can provide you with the building blocks, but what you create out of it is up to you, it's up to your imagination, and it's up to how much effort you put in. So I can give you all the same building blocks, but if some of you just want to take one or two, some of you want to take a whole bucket and create something massive, it's up to you. It's up to you where you go with that, okay? So that's how Lego would represent my teaching philosophy, okay?
So I don't have to find a reference that advocates Lego use in
No,
the
you don't.
classroom.
Exactly. Although I can give you one actually. Someone just wrote a really lovely blog on that for the HEA website. So what I want you to think about when you come in tomorrow is, can you find an object or an artifact or a picture or something that kind of sums up your teaching philosophy? Okay? So it's really just trying to get you to start thinking in the kind of a different way about what your teaching philosophy is and how you would describe that. All right? So if you think about that for tomorrow and bring that in, and then we can start to share those, and then you can start to shape what your philosophy is, because that will really help your narrative in terms of your fellowship application. Okay, is everybody clear what I'm asking you to do there? Yeah? Raid the kids' toy cupboard. No, you can be more. You don't have to bring a toy, but you can bring something. I might find you a picture of some artifacts that other people have brought in just to inspire you. But it can be household objects. A rubber band, if that inspires you. Is that what you feel your job is? To catapult students into the future? I don't know. Okay. So anybody got any questions about that? Just stunned into silence. Good. Okay, right. The last bit this morning, we're going to start thinking about, are you broadly sitting in your own university group? So Baychem people together, yeah, okay. I kind of looked on your websites for this information and I couldn't find it. It's probably there, but it's only the top levels in English, so I couldn't dive too deep. So do we all know what mission statements are, vision statements? Strategy statements, right, okay, and graduate attributes, okay. So, vision, mission and strategy. Most universities now have, like all sort of corporate entities, have a vision for themselves, they have a mission statement, and they have a strategy. So in broad terms, the vision is kind of where you want to go, you want to get to the top of the mountain to see the view. The mission is, what do you have to do to get to that destination? You can't just get to the top of the mountain by wishing that you're going to be there. You need to think of a strategy. You need to have your walking boots. You need to have your food supplies. You need to have the right clothing to get to the top of that mountain. And you need to have a strategy. Have you got a map of how you're going to get there? How are you going to know you're making progress on that journey? Have you got sort of certain milestones along the way to let you know that you're getting there? All right. And then your values. What's going to keep you on track? What are your core beliefs that will keep you going forward towards that goal, towards that vision? Belief in yourself that you can do it. Bringing people alongside you. Valuing the environment around you. What are your values that are going to keep you? Your belief that the view at the top of the mountain is worth all the effort and the struggle to get there. Okay. So thinking about those, what I want you to do, just working in 3s and 4s, I want you to find these documents. So presumably you've all got phones with you. Okay. So in terms of the vision and the mission statements, you can tell me what they are if you can find them, or if you are confident in the group that your university doesn't have one, you can write that down. Can you find the learning and teaching strategy for your university? Can you find an assessment strategy? And can you find if there are any institutional graduate attributes? Okay, so I'm going to give you 10 minutes to try and find all of that information. Work in groups of 3 or 4. Okay? So I suggest that you divvy up the task. So for the top 2, I want them, if you find them, I want you to write them down. For the next 2, just find them and bookmark them, make sure they're there. And then the last one, write down. Okay, everybody know what they have to do? You've got until 12:30 to achieve that.
Tanesi 250.